Shayla, thank you for waiting patiently. Shayla, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to kind of address the main topic of this. So I feel like someone else said earlier about there actually being a system. So to also, I look at this from my community to both separate black men and women, and I think that when y'all talk about um why aren't black women marrying black men, we have to look at that. Like, I think that all these other factors are there, but the main
I'm
underlying.
sorry to cut you off, Shayla, but black women are marrying black men.
Oh, I'm looking at the thing.
No,
The it says,
it says if other races of men are more protective of black women than black men, why
uh,
aren't black women marrying them? That's what it says.
oh, I'll talk about it in this way then, because I didn't realize that that's what it said.
Yeah.
Um, I do feel like, regardless of that, I do feel like in our community we have to be honest about black men being with black women, because it's not like that's, I want to say it's not like it's promoted, but from the beginning, from my grandparents, it wasn't like, or specifically in this country and whatever, it wasn't like that. We had actual things that were put there to separate us, and I feel like a lot of people miss that concept when they talk about black women or black men being against each other. And to me, it's very frustrating because there's an underlying issue. Until we fix the underlying issue, you're going to have all these factors contributing to it. And it's just like, I feel like it's futile for us to look at these factors and not address the underlying issue of it all. Like, we can say, oh, we can talk about the body count, we can talk about all this, but what is that going to do to really solve the solution? Because I've heard this conversation before a lot, actually, and it's just like us talking about it does nothing for like the actual society for both black men and women. I don't understand.
Real quick, I just want to say something. Somebody asked me in the comments, "Can I tell if a woman is lying?" Um, I don't know why she prefaced this as, "Can I tell if a woman's lying?" I can tell when someone's lying. You know, I can tell when someone's lying because the truth is like a circle, right? The truth will always be the truth. When you're lying, there's always holes in your story. So I always say this: half the truth is a whole lie. So if you give me half a story and it don't make sense, I know you're lying. You're not being honest. It's called being dishonest. So you may not necessarily feel like you're lying or you're not, but what you're doing is you're giving half the information. And when you give me half information, I already know there's something missing. And so in the end, you're lying and you're not being dishonest. I just wanted to answer that person.
So Shayla, do you think in real life, like off the internet, do you think that black men and black women are really at odds in real life?
I'm not gonna say at odds in real life, but I'm saying that, like, as far as, because we know that black women are marrying black men. I'm not, I don't feel like we're at odds in that way, because like that's a fact. But what I will say is that from the beginning, there has been stuff put in place to keep us from uniting with each other. That's all. Like, I don't feel like we're at odds. I just know that when we talk about, the issues within our specific community, it's like it all comes back to one thing, in my opinion. Like, we're not.
Can you please explain to all of us in here what that one thing is, or what these things are that have been put in place?
Yeah. So I can give you like examples of it. I think like one of the things that isn't talked about, I think I've seen this in the comments. So like, I was looking at the whole welfare system, all of that. There were certain things that had to be done in the black household for that to stand true. So like, if I took a man out of the household, even, regardless of the particular situation, he had to go. And it wasn't designed for us. It wasn't never designed for us. And I think like a lot of these systems, they're not designed for black people, and specifically black women and black men. So I feel like when we're trying to, I wouldn't say assimilate, it's like it's worthless in my opinion, because we're not actually, I'm not going to say all of it, all not all of the efforts are worthless. It's just us talking about these things, and it is not going to fix what's already been in place unless we come up with a real solution for it.
So how is acknowledging the problems and identifying the problems and talking about how to fix them, how is that not productive?
No, I feel like in the conversations, because I've seen this done before, it's more of like, I would say is more biases, there's more narratives. That to me is unproductive. Us just sharing our particular narratives and anecdotal experience is not a solution. You can call it a discussion, but really, is it really gonna help us come up with a solution? Because I don't think so. I've seen, why am I seeing the same conversation over and over again, and the same discussion? Like, you can't say that we've come up with a solution, because we wouldn't be really going over the same conversation.
Okay.
Shayla, do you feel like my solution will fix it almost overnight?
No, I don't feel like anything is gonna be fixed overnight. I feel like it's gonna take time for stuff to be actually dismantled.
No,
So
what I'm asking, if women as a group came together and said we're not gonna have sex with any more men without requiring marriage and a commitment, do you think within 3 months the men will completely change around, or else?
I think it could be possible, but I'm being realistic, because like, you know, um,
When you say
in your
when
solution,
when
I
you
think
saying
that
you being realistic, are you saying when you say you're being realistic, are you saying that the women won't do it?
you have outliers. Yes, I'm saying some women won't do that. Not every woman would comply to your solution, even though it's a solution, and to the problem. Not all people will adhere to the solution. So I feel like that's what would make it take longer for it to actually be in effect, or to
so,
have a effect.
Shayla, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with the whole thing about these conversations and the biases that there are some people that that they already have their mind made up on certain stuff, and they're trying to like push narratives down people's throats, and they have their own propaganda that they're trying to push. Yeah, and they don't want to hear the other side. That definitely exists. But and this is just my backup page, but if you have people on platforms that are bringing black men up and black women up to discuss these different things, it's only people that what I've personally seen. I've seen a lot of black men be able to be on a panel or be in a room with a lot of black women, and even if they don't agree with what they say, they're able to, like, they're just able to just give them a basic level of respect and just agree to disagree. I haven't, like, you brought up the whole biases thing. What I've seen a lot is that when black women are hearing black men say things that they disagree with, or that isn't favorable to them, or likable to their hearing, then it's the complete opposite. That's personally what I've seen. And when and
I
when that
mean,
when that happens, there's definitely not going to be any solutions, because you some people want to hear what they want to hear.
right, but I've also seen black men do the same thing. Like, it's not
Yeah,
exclusive.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying because you mentioned black women doing that, so it makes it seem like you're
No, but
Finger
excluding
pointing.
I
that.
said, okay, I said, I see that I see black women do that significantly more than I see black men do that. That's what I said.
And I understand that. I'm just
But
saying
so
when you
okay, so I'm asking you, so can you give us some con? It's because what you're saying is that these discussions aren't productive. I want you to tell me what's actually can be done to be productive, so we can start seeing results. I want you to tell me that.
oh, okay. In that case, I think we should let go because you said you do see the narratives, you do see the biases, you do see all of that. I feel like in order for us to have a productive conversation to get to a solution, let go all of that because it is just to me is derailing the real conversation. It's a waste of time. If if I'm seeing repeatedly the same conversation being happening, obviously we haven't reached the solution.
Well,
Okay,
sister, we coming to
hold
you.
on,
We coming to you for a solution. We're asking
Shayla,
you for a
Shayla,
solution.
Shayla. So with all these discussions, people are gonna have to go into the real world and act on what's being discussed. Correct?
Right.
Okay,
But how can they do that?
okay, hold on. So if we're having conversations about black men respecting their bodies and valuing their seed, and we're having conversations about black women valuing their womb and having certain standards before giving a man access to their body, if black men and black women don't abide by these things in the real world, then there's not going to be any change. Correct?
Yes, I do agree.
Okay, so it's not about the people that's having the conversations. It's about everyone going into the real world and actually acting on the things that are being discussed, right?
Um,
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Can't make this stuff up.
Come on now, sis. Let's go,
what's
sis. Yeah.
Noble, I would say thank you for having me on your live. Shout out to all the viewers and the people who are commenting on your live. But I will say, as a black man living in a society, what Shayla's saying, I think what she's trying to say is to look at it from a non-biased standpoint. And I do agree with you that if you don't actually put these plans from both sides into action, then this conversations online are useless. So I do get your point. Um,
right? I'm sorry.
However, I will say that I think there should be more accountability on the man side. As I've been watching your live, I feel like saying that they're 304s or calling them saying that they're opening their legs and letting whoever they want inside, they should have more standards. The only reason is a man saying he want a lower body count is we already know it's a double standard when it comes to women and men pertaining to sex. That's a useless argument. I feel like that shouldn't be claimed. I think what you should do if you actually want to see change is it should start at the head of the household. Who's the head of the household? Unfortunately, most communities, black communities, are embedded in the Bible Belt, and some aren't. That's not all of them, but a lot of them are embedded in the Bible Belt, and that stems from a religion point. And who's the head of the religion? They said the head of the household is the man, and they've just been letting men get away with useless claims as I can do this, I can do this. We see the mothers, like I heard an argument earlier on your live. They were saying the mothers let the son get away with more than they would on the daughter. And I honestly see that because they would tell the father who's not in the home, they would say, you need to raise your son. Well, he hasn't learned anything. The father's going to repeat the same useless arguments that's not helping. He's going to tell his son, hey, you should do this. Just wrap up when you do this. We encourage our black men when they do get a higher body count. If we stop
Yep.
encouraging all of these things, it led up to just the women opening their legs and then having more babies. I feel like us
So what's the
as
solution?
black men are not ownership for it. And I'm a black man myself. And if we can honestly sit here and say that, we know it's the truth. I heard one guy on your live, he said, I'm not sure if it was Lord Ninth Ward or John Purnell. It could have been one of your last ones, but I heard him say that if she lets me have sex with her, then I'm just keep having sex with her. I'm like, But if
Mm-hmm.
you're answering the question on your live, you honestly say that I see the problem and I'm going to change the problem. If you're going to keep doing the problem, it's not left up for the women to become celibate. It has to be something accountable on the man.
Which one you
Okay,
think will
but
work
That's what I
faster?
just want
Which
to say.
one you think will work faster, Nemo?
The one that will work faster will be the man, because the man is the one engaging, and he's the one that's going to persuade the female to do X, Y, and Z. So if he's the one who's holding all of the power in this situation, that means
He's,
that he should be able to
but he's not.
say,
But he's not
I'm
right.
not going to let you.
But he's not holding all the
But
power. She's the one
you
with
even
the
talked
body
about
part that we need. She's the one that holds
you
all the
even
power.
talked about marriage.
I'm sorry to be laughing. I didn't mean to laugh. I thought it was no, but listen, brother, what's the solution? Because we've already addressed the comments that we made about 304s. They are not the topic of conversation. Okay, what what is the solution?
Top black marrying men who basically, the way I've read the question is, why aren't black women marrying other people outside of their race? I feel like black women are holding on to black men because they want to see them succeed. If they have a father who's a black male, they want someone who resembles them. I feel like that's the absolute reason. But us as black men, knowing that this is the problem that we've talked about, then we should, as black men, address the problem. If we want someone with a lower body count, we should simply say, hey, I don't want to do any of these types of things with you until I get to know you on a different level, and then you can have this marriage and you can give that gift to your other counterpart.
Okay, so women, do, let's if anyone can be honest, in general, in mass, do women require men to have a low body count? I want an honest answer. Do women require men to have a low body count?
That's
Do
yes or
women
no.
require men to have a little? If
Yeah.
Do women
if a woman
require men to have a low body count?
consider if woman on woman them having sex, would you consider that a big body count?
Nemo,
Okay.
Nemo. I, I
Do,
I I like it when guys do what you're doing. Would you tell everybody who you were raised by?
I was raised by a black female and a black father,
You,
so those
in,
values are
wait, in the
it,
same were they in the same home?
and to push that out to non-valued, responsible black men and
Were they
black
in the
women
same
don't have
were they in the same home?
enough respect to change it. But as far as the body count question, I'm
Nemo,
saying you can't
Nemo,
and
you
in
hear me? You
a
hear me, Nemo?
valuable
Were the mother
body.
and father in the same home?
Say that again.
Were your mother and father in the same home?
Yes, they were.
But see, usually when you're one of those one that slid through, but usually when men can't just answer a direct question, they usually are raised by women because that's what
What does
women
his
do.
question have to do with anything?
Right.
No,
And I
Michael, what
have
did
but
your question have to do with anything?
I
Body
will
count.
tell
The
you.
pro-
I
the
will tell
problem
you after you honestly
what
answer the
the
question. I would love to tell you why.
answer was.
Do women require men to have a low body count
that's either yes or no.
in
Okay,
mass?
That's
Not.
a
I'm not talking about one little lady over here.
question.
I'm talking in mass, in general. Do women require men to have a low body count?
Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. The reason I asked you that question, if women and women consider to body count, is because that would expand upon your question. Because men and women are not necessarily the only way for your body count to go up. If you look at the
You,
rules in
So
you
we
science,
see
having sex with
you see what I'm
animals?
talking about?
What are you
You
talking
see what
about,
I'm
just
talking
brother?
let
about? You
him
see what
finish answering the
listen,
question.
he never.
listen.
It's either yes or no.
You
That's a simple question.
if you look at the rules in science, when you have
Oh
sex,
Lord,
Oh Lord, Noble,
it is not just
you see what I'm talking about?
it's or not
Yeah,
Noble's
all
shaking
right,
his,
time out,
it's
Noble's shaking his
time
head.
out, time out, time out, time out. Thank you, Shy Heart, for that. Will Nemo, Nemo, Nemo. We're trying to have a serious question, brother. I appreciate you being up here, let's have a serious. Let's just answer the question yes or no, so we can progress the conversation forward, brother. Let's stop with the semantics, okay? You talking about science and all this other stuff. You talking about women sleeping with women. That has nothing to do with the question that he asked you. Let's be all the way real, so we can continue the conversation, brother. It's 5:15 in the morning. I don't got time for this right now. Just answer yes or no, and so we can move on with the conversation.
No
Or some.
disrespect to you or the people who generated the question. If
All
you
right,
are
let
reading,
let one of the women answer the question.
Yeah,
Let the
okay, so
women
I'll
answer.
say
Yeah,
no, no, not
we not doing
Nemo.
that. We can't, bro.
Not
Matter of fact,
Nemo.
before, but hold on, Ryan. Before we even go forward, Lower and Michael, what do y'all have to say about? I don't even want to do it. Never mind. Never mind.
The
Forget it.
man was spitting facts before
Never
that.
mind.
All right,
Forget
yeah,
it.
No, he
I'd
wasn't.
say he was spitting facts before
Ask
that.
this man a simple yes or no question. This man talking about science and women sleeping with women and
Yeah, so
yo, bro. Why do y'all get up? Why do y'all get up on a platform to do stuff like that? Do you think that was a good look? Do you think that was really like a good look? Good.
All right, can Nemo please come back?
No, Nemo is not coming back.
No, Nemo is long. Nemo is not one. She's not.
We're not bringing
Nemo is
female.
not part of the sisterhood. Okay.
All right, okay.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
for some women, I'd say it does matter. For a lot, I'd say it doesn't. But I don't really have statistics on that. But I know it's something that's subjective.
So most women do not require men to have a low body count. Okay.
I didn't say most because I don't have the statistics on that, but it is subjective. I'd say
So
men care
okay,
more.
I'll go with yours. I'll go with yours. A lot of women don't require
Yeah.
men to have a low body count. Okay.
Yeah.
So if a lot of women don't really require men to have a low body count, what a man does with a 304 is irrelevant to our conversation. We're not hurt when I or any brother says, yeah, that woman's a 304. We didn't make her a 304. She's a 304.
Yeah.
If we engage in sex with her because we want to, because in between me finding actually real woman, a lot of women are not going to hold that against me because I'm having sex with a 304.
Yeah.
Now, when I choose a wife, there are certain things that I am actually looking for that does matter. You understand? So, are you going to be to a man what he wants him to be for him in order to choose you is what the real conversation is.
Yeah, so I'd say, I think you said this, that body count doesn't matter to men if they're sleeping with if they're just sleeping with the woman, but it doesn't relationship. But can you repeat what your question was?
So, are you going to, since a lot of women don't hold body count against the man, then we can forget about the 304s. We don't need to bring them up. They're not an issue. Me or any brother having sex with a 304 is not the issue in our community. We keep trying to insert that. That's the
But
issue. No, it's not. It is not the issue.
But you guys are saying women are having children out of wedlock, right? Or black
Yes.
women.
That
So
is
then
a problem.
it
Would
is
you
an
agree that
issue.
that's a problem?
So that is an issue. Then that's what we're talking about, is it not?
Yeah, but
All right.
we're not talking about 304s, but we talk about the simple fact that and let's be honest. Okay,
Wait, what?
out of wedlock is a problem. Let's say that out of wedlock is a problem, which is why I'm a product of that. Probably most of us in here are. That's not still that's somewhat of an issue, but it's not an issue. The real issue is, in my opinion, only my opinion,
You need to
the
mute up.
real issue is that we live in a culture that does not value men. And therefore, because they do not value men, most men will have to go and fight the court system just to see his child. So, in other words, you might have a child. Instead of you saying, "Hey, let's work. Hey, you come get kids 1 week. I have the kid 1 week." You will not agree to do that
One
unless he has to go to court.
second.
That's
Have you
what's
talk for a
that's what's
second, but
happened.
mute up while you're not talking. You have feedback coming in.
So yeah, I wouldn't say that that's all women that don't want their dad to, or all black women that don't want their child or the dad to see the child. But I would say like that is an issue in the court system because I see the woman as a caretaker. They'll give like full custody to the woman and stuff.
Yeah, and that's my point. I would like for us as a culture that we start really. And I'm gonna say this last thing, and I'm gonna be quiet for a while. Just listen. We know what the real statistics are, but we will have people that will talk about black men as if it's 90% of black men, and I'm never going to buy that. That's just not the case. But I'll if just for the sake of argument, I'll give you half. Let's take 100 men. I'll give you half. Let's take 50% of black men and throw them right in the trash. Right? Just for the sake of argument, 50%. Throw them in the trash. Now, we know that there are people that do work together without the court system. Let's just call that 10%. 10% of couples, hey, it didn't work out, we working together. I know people like that. I'm sure everybody do. But then that leaves 40. Are you saying that 40% of black men just do not want to be a part of their children's lives? So if you add the 40% with the 50% that we threw in the trash, are we asserting that 90% of black men just do not want to be involved with their children's lives? I'm never going to buy that.
Yeah.
But hold on, I think that 40% of men having to go fight the court system just to have the right to see their children is a problem. And most men are not going to do it because it's a lose-lose situation. You will lose most time. I lost for a long time until I just started to gain some information that people will share a tidbit here and there. I learned most men and people don't have $5,000-6,000 to throw towards a lawyer to go fight a court case for them. You will get railroaded. So a lot of brothers won't go ahead. They won't fight. They just forget it, man. I'm not going to deal with it. Now I'm encouraging brothers, right? Accountability. I am encouraging brothers. I know you don't want to, brothers. I know you don't. You shouldn't have to, but I'm imploring you, please go fight for your children. Okay. If you need information, I've been through this situation. A number of us brothers been. Hit the inbox. Ask me a question. I'll help you get that information. I know a little bit how the system works. You can win the situation, but you got to have some information, brothers. But I'm imploring you, brothers, to go fight in the court system because we cannot have children being raised in single mother's house. So no disrespect to the single mother, but you're not emotionally and physically and spiritually equipped to raise children on your own. Is not supposed to be that way.
Okay,
I'm
Yeah.
done.
I don't think it.
Okay,
What?
go ahead, Ryan, and then no response from Michael. I do need to let Evolve speak. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. So I'd say the statistics thing. I don't really know the variables or like why all men leave their, or not all men, but the men that do leave their children, like why all of them do leave their children. But I know that for some, it can be that they don't want to fight. So I would agree that even though it is really unfair, I agree with that 100%, that you should fight because that is your child.
Okay, Ryan, please go
Do
ahead.
you?
Evolve.
Yeah.
Taylor, did you want to say something before Evolve speaks?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about like when we were talking about the about like what we talked about earlier. I just wanted to say that I wanted to actually go in depth with my answer because like you like I don't know, it was kind of just like I felt like I was being cut off, but it's okay. Like I understand how these conversations go. But we can move on. It's fine.
Go ahead and go in depth with your answer. Go ahead.
Um, so like I understand what you're saying, like, because my answer was yes at first. But then I was thinking that how, regardless of if we're having these discussions, right? Like society, I don't feel like this could be, I wouldn't say a overnight thing to fix because it's like regardless of like all these extra factors, that these factors are always going to be here. So I think we would need to address more of those things instead of, having one side of the conversation there with the biases and the narratives that I hear.
Okay. Evolver, go ahead, Evolver.
Hello. I am sorry. I don't even know where to start. I do think that this is about accountability on both parts. Um, there's no way to get around that. We just have to be willing to accept that and speak truthfully about that. Um, there is a long historical context in terms of the Black family unit and why we are in the condition that we are in. Um, I'll give you a little bit of my background because I know firsthand what loving headship looks like and what loving leadership looks like from a man. I grew up in a very religious family. Um, I was raised by my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother, and my great grandparents. They lived right around me, like in my backyard and to the right of me. So it was a daily interaction. Uh, my grandmother and my mother taught me and my sisters what female submission looked like on a daily basis. But that was because of the loving headship of my grandfather, who I consider my father, because my father was murdered when my mother was pregnant with me. And I am the last child of three daughters. My mother did not remarry. When I got married, I was a virgin. I was married for 12 years. My ex husband cheated throughout that marriage. So I understand what it means to be in a marriage where you're being mistreated and disrespected. I was not allowed to do certain things. I was not allowed to go to school. I had to work and contribute to the family. And I did this for 12 years, consistently being sick to the point of being hospitalized because of the emotional turmoil that I was being put through by my ex-husband. So I eventually, because he didn't want to do the right thing by his family, had to get a divorce, which was and still to this day is very strongly frowned on in my family. It goes against everything that I was taught. And there are repercussions to that. You know, anytime you go through a divorce, there is repercussions not only to the two adults, but most definitely to the children. I am very blessed to say that my children are adults now. I have a daughter and I have a son. My daughter is married with two children. My son is 25. He has no children. He works a full time job. He has his own home. My daughter and her husband have their own home. So I've worked very hard to present to them what a family looks like. And I did that with the extension of my mother and my father's people. But one thing that I will also say, and this is going to be for, I guess, the next generation coming up, we have got to take control of our culture because the culture that is being presented to us now is not our culture. It is very demoralizing. It is very corrupt and it is destroying our families from the inside out because of the narratives, the negative narratives that it is putting out. When you talk about body count and all of these things, it the culture that is being presented for Black people now, which I have not seen perpetuated to the degree that it is being perpetuated today, is a complete immoral culture. And that was not the case 20, 30 years ago. It just was not the case. It's like we are trying to keep up with people that never had morals. And it's mind boggling to me that when I see our women, when I see our men, we used to be the moral standard. We used to be the moral standard. I don't know when it flipped, but we are trying to do things that other cultures do, other people do that we never did. And it is having a detrimental effect on our people. And if I'm thankful for one thing, is that I'm thankful that I was able and have been able to express that to my children. But this culture, this love and hip hop culture, all this stuff we see, it is destroying us. That's what I see. That's where I see the problem. That's where we have to take control of what is being put into our hearts and mind through entertainment. The same way we want to talk about what we put in our mouths to eat, we need to think about what we are putting in our minds and in our hearts when we look at some of this entertainment, because we are destroying our families from the inside out. I see stuff online with little kids, and I'm thinking, what is going on in the Black community? That some of the stuff that I never would have saw 30 years ago, that I'm seeing young kids do online. It, it's very depressing. It's very depressing. And if we cannot come together as adults and say, Black women can't say, I don't like what you're doing, Black man. And a Black man can't say, I don't like what you're doing, Black woman. And we all can't just say, okay. Let's just say, okay. Cut out the foolishness and just say, okay, listen, is it good to sleep around? Is it healthy? Is it healthy? Is it not disgusting to sleep around? I mean, when I was in school, that was the worst thing to be, was to be a whore. That was a detestable thing. But now you have these women on these shows talking about how to do this. I don't want to know what nobody does in the bedroom. And that's why I say, yes, body count matters to me. It most certainly does matter to me. I don't want a man telling me what he does in the bedroom. I don't want to hear that mess. That's disgusting to me. It's disgusting for anybody to sit up and tell me in a conversation what they gonna do to me in the bedroom if we're not on that level. It's disgusting to me to hear those lyrics on the radio. It's like ear porn. But this is what we're feeding ourselves every day. This is what's being pushed out to us. And we got AIDS out here. We got all these diseases. Every sexual partner, the more sexual partners you have, the greater cervical cancer women are apt to get. So there's reasons why God put these stipulations on both men and women. No, I don't want a man with a high body count, because it says to me he is undisciplined. An undisciplined man will never be successful at anything. Just like a woman needs to have control over her emotions, a man needs to have control over his sex. He needs to be disciplined in that. Because we all know a woman who lacks emotional control can wreak havoc on a family. A man who lacks sexual control can wreak havoc on a family. There are reasons that these things have been put in place to safeguard the family. So until we can just say, I'm going to listen to this black man, and the black man says, I'm going to listen to this black woman, and we're going to do what needs to be done to save our families, because the children are the ones suffering. The children are the ones suffering. Somebody has to stand up and be a leader. And in my opinion, that will always be the black man. You might not want to hear that. That will always be the black man. And I know firsthand that when a black man has his shit together, the black woman willingly will follow. Willingly. I have seen it. My grandparents were married for 75 years. My granddaddy got with my grandmother when he was 9 and she was 6. I have a box full of love letters he wrote her throughout their time together. And he said when he saw her at 9, he didn't want nobody else. 75 years together. So I know what a loving relationship looks like. I know what a man having honor and loving his wife, loving his children, loving his family, and being the head of his family, not being domineering, not putting her down, valuing her, submitting to her, because he has to submit to her out of love, out of love. We're not loving each other anymore. It's just a bunch of, we cussing each other out, we disrespecting each other. We got to stop this. We know what we need to do. We know what we need to do. This continual, all this on social media, it's time for somebody to say, let's have a black man and black woman retreat, get in a room. Let's bring some people who are trained in communication, in emotional intelligence, in leadership. And that's another thing. Black men need to take some type of leadership courses, because you want to be leaders, but where are the examples of leadership in your life? Because we want y'all to lead. We want you to be successful. We're not out here doing this, trying to go to school and get these degrees just to have them. I don't know where these women are that some men are talking about, because they are not in my circle. I don't deal with foolish women. I do not do it. But we know what we need to do. We know what we need to do. We need to stop talking about it and get to it. Get to it. Because we just going on and on with the insults, with the unaccountability, with the lies, with the statistics. Let's just do the work. Just do the work. The next time a black woman comes to you, just listen. The next time a black man comes to you, just listen. Let them talk. Let them talk. Take your mental notes and take it back and implement something in your life where you can make some changes. Because not everything that a black woman or a black man is saying is wrong or against you. We just hate ourselves so much. It's really disheartening. It's so disheartening. I don't understand it. I hate it. I'm to the point now. I don't want to hear another rap or R&B song. I'm just like, where is the love? Everything about us is just hateful. And then we want to talk about a family. I don't hear no kind of love coming from us. It's so I get so frustrated by it. Everybody, we talk about everybody hating us. We hate ourselves. Everything. I'm like, where is the love and love? Where is it? We did. How the hell did we get here?
It says, Vava, can I ask you a question? Because you're speaking about something that I think we kind of alluded to about the self-love and self-hate, which is really kind of what, and not to make it trivial, but when we talk about self-love, we often talk about this obsessive desire for our women to have a certain sort of body type. I don't know if they assume that we want this. We say we don't want this. But can you speak to that when it comes to this culture of excessive makeup, excessive hair weaves, eyelashes? I mean, just really not,
I, I
looking
understand
like.
what you're saying, and I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you something. I come
yeah.
from an era where my mama would put some lipstick on, some moisturizer on her face, and walk out the door. I don't wear fake nails. I got a wig or two. I don't do eyelashes. Yes, I do makeup because I work in a professional setting. There are some things I have to do. However,
Can I say something real quick? Real quick. Someone said in the comments section he's attacking women again. Why would you take?
no, I don't
Hold on,
think
hold
he's
on.
attacking women.
No, no.
I think what you're doing is
Right,
this is what I'm saying. We used to be the standard. Stop fooling yourself. We are not the standard anymore. We're trying to copy other people.
right.
We're
That's my
copying
point.
other people.
That's my point.
And
Why would you take it? Why would you take what I'm saying as attacking women when I'm literally saying that our women, as sister saying, are the standard of beauty, and we would rather we admire your natural beauty. I'm what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm telling you you don't need long, ridiculously long eyelashes. You don't need that, sis. I think you're beautiful. You don't
thank
need fake
you.
hair. Rock your
Thank
regular hair.
you.
I think that's
Thank you.
beautiful.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
Okay.
And I
This is
understand
so.
completely
What
what
is
you're
wrong
saying. And
that?
I don't take it as an affront. I appreciate the compliment, sir. I really do.
100,
I
sis.
think
I
we are the standard for natural beauty. All this other junk, I think we are have become a laughing stock. I think we are trying to keep up with other people. That's what I think. I think we need to get back to the real essence of the Black woman. I can't wait to all that fake stuff, all that fakery is no more. It's too much. It's too much. The claws, the spiders on our eyes is too much. It's too much. And yes, I will say it till I until it's gone. It's too much. We're doing too much, Black women. We are doing too much. We don't need it. We don't need all of that. We have become a joke. The BBL, we have become a joke.
So we're
um
saying, sisters, I'm sorry to cut you off. We're saying we love you. You though. We're trying to implore you and tell you you don't need it. Whatever the reason why you're putting it on, I'm telling you you don't need it.
yeah, you're right, and I agree with you. But a lot of black men won't say the same thing. Like if a woman
And
wears her, or a black woman wears her natural hair, like I'll hear from a lot of black men, they'll make fun of it and stuff like that.
Those men that are attracted to those things, that ain't the man you want.
Oh yeah.
It ain't the man you want.
And I will also say this. Get in a better circle of people. If you're not finding what you like, if something is detestable to you, get away from around it.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people are saying, the passport bros, who are you around? I have friends, I have known female friends, I have known my whole life. Not one of them does the things that these men are saying that they hate. I don't know any woman from childhood to today, I'm 51 years old, that disrespects black men. Not one of my friends has ever called a black man the N word in my presence. So if you hanging around low class people is what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Sister,
Because
you
these
know,
are people that I
you,
don't know these type of black people.
sister, I understand it's a circle that you in, but if you've been on this app more than a week, you done heard women call men all those things on
I
this app.
said my circle. I
I
said
know, I
my
know,
circle.
I
I said
know.
my circle. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
My
you
circle.
usually,
We don't
usually,
disrespect black men.
right.
We don't do that, sir.
Usually like-minded women hang around each other. But there's an abundance of this generation between 18 and 35 that talk to and disrespect black men to the fullest.
um, but
I know that, sir. I'm saying to you, I don't do that. The women that I deal with don't do that. And I'm saying to people, if you are around people that you detest, get away from them. Because there are people like me, there are women like me, there are more of us out here than you realize. There are more of us out here than you realize. And
and
stop being intimidated by educated black women. Because this is another issue. This is why I say, black men, please, please get into some type of leadership program. If you don't ever take another college class, take a leadership class, please. Please.
But that also means the women have to take a followers class too.
You learn how to follow in a leadership class. Because one thing about leadership, all leadership is influence. That's all it is.
and can I say something? Because I don't want to cut anybody off. Um, so like lower, I don't know if that's your name, but I've seen it on both sides. So like you can say that, yeah, there are black women that do that, but I've literally also seen black men do the same thing. So like it comes from both perspectives.
But black men do what, sweetie?
They'll bash, they'll demonize black women. I've seen it on both sides where that does happen.
Mental.
I agree. I
No,
agree.
let me say something mental to you real quick. I just sat here and encouraged our sisters to take off the excessive uh stuff that they're wearing for beauty. And if you looked in the comment section, you had women saying that I was bashing black women and I was attacking black women. So where someone is being disingenuous about what black men are saying versus what black women are saying about black men. Black men say, sisters, we don't want that no more. If black men say, sisters, y'all got to stop doing this and that or whatever it is, it's bashing. Why are
Well,
we why are we taking it as bashing? Now you flip it, and then the derogatory statements come on the black men, or he's broke, he's uneducated, he's dusty. Now they're talking about men that's between $42,000 in between, $100,000, because most people are gonna make somewhere between 65 and $100,000, and then you have people obviously very low end, and it works out somewhere. These men are being called dusties and broke, and they're leaving because they're losers, and they're predators, and just derogatory things. I don't understand that. So
Well,
we just got to be honest about what type of conversations we're really having.
and I
Mike,
think again when you said, I'm sorry.
Michael, the fact is, they only want to be led when they decide they want to be led. If they don't decide they want to be led, you can't do a damn thing about it.
That's a fact.
I was just about to say that, like, too, like some Evolve was saying. I'm not sure that's um that women will follow you when you're most of the time. I see the men that want to be these leaders, black men that want to be leaders and things like that. I'm not against them leading. I'm not. I just feel like there's ways that I see that is unproductive to our community. Like, you can
Right.
say, "Oh, I want to lead black women." You're bashing them. What woman is going to be want to led by? What woman is going to be realistically going to want to be led by a woman, a man that bashes her? Like, I
But
just don't
e- but
understand
but
that.
every time he says something that she don't like, even if it's honest and we could whisper it to you, they still gonna say it's bashing. That's a
Yeah,
problem.
I don't think Michael was bashing when he said
No,
the makeup thing, but I do think it's true that, like, some black men, from what I've seen, this is my anecdotal experience, will make fun of a black woman that's natural. That's all I'm gonna say.
but you don't need those men because they're not worried about marrying you anyway.
Yeah, but I think it's
I
still
mean,
part of the problem.
Okay.
I I think that when we're talking about, black women doing, like, wearing their hair, or like even wearing wigs or wearing eyelashes and stuff like that, maybe they're not doing that for your view. Like, maybe they do that for themselves. Maybe they want to feel pretty,
Okay.
or because I've seen that too. Like the woman, my mother was a cosmetologist, so she would do stuff like that because it made her feel pretty. I feel like women should, be able to make themselves feel pretty the way they want to feel pretty. Like, I don't feel like that should be a bad thing.
Let me ask you this. So is it more important to be dolled up, or is it more important to be married and raise a family with a man? Which one more important?
Huh? I don't think they're comparable though. Like, I feel like
Of course you don't.
obviously one is important. Can you let me answer it, or are you just going to cut
Okay.
me off? Okay. So, like, when we're talking about women being married, like, in that way, I feel like, why can't you have both of those things? Why can't I feel pretty and be married? Like, I feel like you're separating those two things, like they can't exist when they can. I mean it.
Okay. Okay.
Look, we are about to give our closing words. We're gonna start with, so y'all could just say whatever last words y'all want to say pertaining to the topic or anything that we've discussed here tonight. We're gonna go with Raya, then we're gonna go with Lower Ninth Ward, and then we're gonna go with you, Shayla, and then we're gonna go with Michael, and then we go end with Auntie. So go ahead, Raya.
No promoting hookup culture, guys. That's not a good thing. I agree with everything Evolver said, and I think both sides need to take accountability and look up both of their actions and how they're both treating, or just treating, like, both sides. But that's all I'm gonna say. Thank you for having me.
All right,
Thanks for talking to me,
hey,
guys.
Raya, fix that smoke alarm, all right?
That's not me.
That is you.
Really?
She's so used. Yeah,
Yes.
she's so used to it that she don't even hear it.
But
Baby,
but
All
baby,
right.
yeah, but I appreciate you.
get a man,
Okay.
get a man. He'll change the batteries for you.
I
I
have a man.
appreciate
He's white. Just letting you know. That's my
Oh,
closing statement. Peace
there
you.
out,
Okay.
you
y'all.
there there you go.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lord. Go ahead, Lord.
Oh, family, black family, I love you. We gotta stop. We gotta get these barriers out the way and get our families back together. I gave a solution that if the sisters got together and required more out the brothers, we wouldn't have a choice but to change. And that can happen within months. We got to do better. We got to do better. If you want the next generation to do better, ladies, you have to require more, because the men that y'all complaining about are coming from your homes and y'all creating a problem for the next generation.
Mm.
Men got to be accountable too, but we will not be accountable until we're required to. I love y'all. Good night.
Appreciate you, Lower. Have a great day, brother. Appreciate you being
You
on
too.
here. Go ahead, Shayla.
I just wanted to say that I do agree. I do agree with what Evolve was saying about, both sides being accountable. Like, I feel like there is no real solution, without both sides taking accountability. Um, and I feel like that in our specifically for the Black community, it is not, to me, it's not going to be a overnight thing, because we can look back at our grandparents and stuff like that and see how these relationships are different, how the dynamics are different now. So I feel like in order for us to change the dynamics, we have to know that this isn't going to be an overnight thing.
All right. Thank you, Shayla. I appreciate you coming on here. You have a good day.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, appreciate you, Noble. You always do a great job with your lives. And Sister Evolve, appreciate you too. I just want to say that I'll leave with this here. I said it earlier. We have to value, if you want leadership from black men, you got to value black men. Okay, you have to value manhood, not even just black men. Value men. There's a bunch of good men out here that want relationships, that want to be fathers, they want to be husbands, but we simply have to change the culture on how we see manhood, masculinity, and that leadership. If we do that, then we'll see that the children will benefit, because what's going on affects the children, and so once we understand that and get right. So what I mean is, regardless to what happens in your relationship, relationships sometimes don't work out, but that should not affect what goes on between you and the children, the father and the children, the mother and the children. Leave that separate. Don't let whatever goes on affect what happens with the children, because there's enough men out here that want to be fathers and want to be involved in their children's lives, and the children absolutely positively need the fathers in their lives.
Appreciate you, brother Michael. You have a great day, brother.
All right, brother.
Auntie, go ahead and close us out, man. Drop them wisdom, drop them gems on us before we get out of here again.
I'm just going to say to love one another, put more love into one another, speak love over one another. We got so many people speaking death over us. Speak love into us as brother and sister. Stay in the fight, but always fight the good fight. Carry yourself with honor, with dignity, and with respect, so that can be reciprocated. We got to love one another. We need to be the example of love, because that is who we are as a people. We are a loving people, and we need to put love back into our language, into our communication with one another. We can speak the truth, but we can always speak the truth with love. And people are more apt to listen. People are more apt to do when they're spoken to with love and respect, and they are allowed to maintain their dignity. So stay in the fight. Stay in the fight with one another. We can fix this. We can fix this. Stay in the fight, because it is a fight. because there are too many people out there that want to see us destroyed. They want to see us fail at this thing. So stay in the fight, but make it a good fight. Make it a fight because you're fighting for love. You're fighting for your legacy. You're fighting for your children. There is no greater thing. The one thing that God implemented, the one thing that He implemented was the family. That was the first thing that God implemented, was the family. And it is the one thing that the devil has worked to destroy. It is the one thing that God implemented, was the family. The first thing He implemented was the family. Think about that. Think about that. It was the first thing that God implemented, was the human family. And every day the devil is out to destroy it. So keep fighting for it, but fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Y'all take care.
Come on, man. Auntie deserve clapping hands. Auntie, thank you so much for coming on here. I appreciate you. Listen, you dropped some amazing gems. You dropped some wisdom. You dropped some wisdom on everybody and everyone tonight. Very much appreciated. You're always welcome to come here and participate in these discussions. And I also hope that when you're in these TikTok streets that you go to other rooms and do the same thing, because this is very much needed. So I appreciate you. Thank you for the roses, 68. So, Auntie Evolve, you have a great day. Okay.
Thank